Before we begin, I want to take a moment to talk about my partner on this video, MyHeritage. I don't know about you, but I know very little about my family tree or history, yet I've often wondered where my family came from. As the leading global service for family history research and DNA testing, MyHeritage felt like an obvious choice. Using MyHeritage, you can begin building your family tree. Within the over 19 billion records located on MyHeritage, you can find newspaper clippings or even old handwritten census documents related to your ancestors. Clicking the Instant Discoveries button will show you new discoveries that MyHeritage has found for your tree, including people and photographs, which can be added quickly and easily to your own family tree. Uploaded photos can also be colorized, repaired, enhanced, and even animated. I discovered that a large part of my family came from Poland, Germany, Austria, and even Mexico. I was also very surprised to discover a whole other branch of my family that I could trace back to the early days of the US. This kind of information just gives me more reason to find out what these family members were up to during big moments in history. By clicking the link in the description and signing up for a 14-day free trial, you can get all the amazing features MyHeritage has to offer. If you decide to continue your subscription, you'll get a 50% discount, so take advantage of this opportunity and sign up now. Hey there, folks. The disappearance of Linda Arteaga has been covered on this channel before. It's a unique case that contains some rather odd elements. We're going to take a look at it again now that I have more information on it. And on that note, I would also like to thank a viewer of this channel, Jackie, for making this video possible. Let's do a quick overview of the case. Linda Arteaga and her brother, Eddie Huff, went hiking on September 22nd of 2012 in the area of St. Joe, Arkansas. The two were in St. Joe visiting a sibling. Some articles wrote that Eddie was trying to teach his sister survival techniques. Another said that the two were trying to find a fishing hole. Either way, the two went on a hike and they got lost. After that, they apparently became separated. Eddie Huff would make it out of the woods on September 24th and later tell people that he assumed his sister had already made it out too. Well, Linda had not made it out, and she was eventually reported missing to the sheriff, who finally initiated a search and rescue operation. During that time, the Searcy County Sheriff believed it was unlikely that Linda would be found alive. But she was. The search was successful. Linda was found on September 27th after surviving in the wilderness for about 5 days. She was scratched and bruised and had subsisted on nuts, berries, and watercress. So far, nothing too bizarre. The strange part comes during an interview Linda gave from her hospital bed at the North Arkansas Regional Medical Center. She said that she was eating berries and chestnuts and was so thirsty that she was licking water off of leaves. By day 2, her flip-flops had broken and she was walking around barefoot. She said after she and her brother became lost, they stayed together for 3 days before separating. And here's what she had to say about that. "I thought he was hurt or something, so what I did, I tried to find help for him, but I didn't know there was nothing wrong with him." This is where her story starts to get a little unusual. The article goes on to say that there were times during those 5 days that Linda Arteaga can't be sure if she was thinking clearly. She goes on to be quoted saying, "It was pretty freaky, most definitely. I would see people, I would ask for help, and they'd act like they didn't even hear me." Linda remembered the people looking right at her and not saying a thing. Linda continued, "These people were hiding in bushes. They were weird people. Very weird people." The doctor who was attending Linda suggested that perhaps she ingested something toxic that caused her to hallucinate. He would also say, "She's been very consistent with that story, and today in her mental examination, she seems very oriented and appropriate in conversation. Whatever she experienced, whether or not it was real or hallucinatory, she clearly did experience that." Linda would say that to her, it was like it was real, and she only survived by fierce determination. She said she would not be going for a walk in the woods anytime soon. So it was that interview that has really kept this story alive. The idea that while Linda Arteaga was lost in the woods, she encountered some other people out there and they acted like they couldn't even hear her. Apparently, these people were also watching her from bushes, and her only description of them is that they were very weird. These shadowy and nondescript people who only watch from afar as someone begs for help are what really makes this case unique. As with any case that reports strange phenomena like this, I feel it is very important we do our best to get to the bottom of it. Did this really happen like this? Could this really all just be a hallucination from some toxic berries? It's all about trying to discover if we can truly label this case as presenting some sort of paranormal phenomena. So let's examine some previously unknown information about this case and see if it falls apart under scrutiny or continues to get more bizarre. On September 26, 2012, Arkansas State Police were contacted by the Searcy County Sheriff and informed of the investigation into the disappearance of Linda Arteaga. The sheriff told ASP that they interviewed Linda's brother, Eddie Huff, and he had told them that he and Linda had been staying at the home of their sister, Barbara Friend, and Barbara's daughter, Shelley. All three siblings must have different fathers or something, as none of them share the same name. Eddie and Linda left the house on the morning of Saturday, September 22nd, to go for a walk on Mill Creek Road. They left the house without food or water. After walking about 5 miles, they went off the road and into the woods. After a short time in the woods, they became disoriented and lost. They stayed together for 3 nights, but became separated on Tuesday morning. Eddie Huff then made it home on his own, but never reported his sister missing. It turns out that Eddie's niece, Shelley, was the one who actually called to report Linda as missing, unbeknownst to Eddie. As you can probably imagine, this situation looked highly suspicious to sheriff's deputies, and that's why they called Arkansas State Police in order to ask for assistance with a possible homicide investigation. Authorities' suspicions were likely elevated by an email they received this very same day. It came from a retired Arkansas State Police lieutenant named Bill Beach. He was familiar with the family involved in this incident and had a few things to say about the situation. Here is his email. Hey, just a word. There's a family of crazy people living next door to the church. Don't know the last names, but first names are Barbara, Eddie, and Linda. All supposed to be siblings. They've been to the church a few times, and as unchristian as it might be, they make the hair on the back of my neck stand up. Seems Linda has been missing for about 5 days now, according to them, and Eddie came by the church today to spin a yarn about it. He said they went hiking and got lost, but he made it home 2 days ago, after having split up in the woods, because Linda said she was going to someone else's house, someone who grows marijuana and makes meth. But he doesn't know for sure who it is. Talked about seeing other people and no one would give them food or water. But when I asked him about being by the river, he said it was dry. And then he began to hallucinate because he had been without food or water for 3 days, etc., etc. They called SCSO today to report her missing. I don't know what they'll do, but it would be my suggestion that they work this as a homicide. Nothing he said made sense, and the more questions I asked him, the more the story changed. He's covered in chigger bites and briar scratches. A week ago today, Barbara told me that Linda was planning on moving back to Oklahoma, and then by Saturday, her and Eddie had disappeared on this hike. Now he's back and she's not. Don't know if they'll call you all or not, but it doesn't smell right. But then again, my smeller may not be as good as it used to be either. Later that evening on September 26th, the Arkansas State Police agents interviewed Eddie Huff a second time at the Searcy County Sheriff's Office. A good portion of this interview was recorded, and in it you can hear exactly what Bill Beach talked about in his email. We quickly learned that Eddie Huff was with Linda when all of these odd occurrences happened. We also learned that Eddie is not a very good storyteller. I had to edit the 2.5-hour interview down for time and attempt to organize it into something even remotely coherent. But the full version is available on Patreon for those who are interested. Fair warning, prepare to be absolutely confused by this man's bizarre story.
Today's date is September 26th, time is 6:20 p.m. This will be the recorded interview of Edward Lee Huff. I'm at the Searcy County Sheriff's Department, Special Agent Dennis Simons of the Arkansas State Police. What's your date of birth, Mr. Huff?
August 16th, 1955.
What's your home address?
Barb's address?
What is your home address? Where do you live?
At Barb's house. I don't have anything with me.
Who's
right
Barb?
now. Barbara's friend?
Barb, a friend?
Yeah.
Who is she to you?
My sister.
Okay. What town does she live in?
St. Joe.
Last name's Friend, right?
Yes.
That's your sister?
Yes.
Is she the one that's missing?
No, Linda, my sister, is
Okay.
missing. Her name is Linda Arteaga. I don't know how to
Okay, hang
spell
on, we're going to get to that. You do anything for a living?
Right now, I'm just trying to get SSI, sir, because I've got health issues.
Listen, you're not under arrest, all right?
Okay.
I'm going to take a statement from you, so I'm going to read you your rights. You understand
Okay.
that?
I'm okay with that.
Just because I'm reading rights don't mean people are under arrest. They get confused about that. All right, Eddie. Who we got missing now?
My sister, Linda Arteaga.
What is it?
Linda Arteaga.
Linda Arteaga.
Yes, sir.
How you spell Arteaga?
That's the thing about it. I don't know. You just have to go-
O-R-T-E-G-A?
something like that.
How old is she?
Sis is about almost 30.
All right, Eddie. Tell me your story.
Okay. We were going down Milk Creek Road, and it got dark. We got disoriented
When was this?
Saturday.
What time of the morning, Saturday morning, did y'all leave to go on this adventure?
It was about 8 or 9 o'clock.
8 or 9 o'clock in the morning. You left her house?
No, Barb's house, yeah.
You didn't take any water?
No, sir.
Didn't take any food?
No, sir.
All right. You left at 9 o'clock in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
Let's fall down on your side of this and say you left at 9 o'clock in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Your sister's with you.
Mm-hmm.
All right. You've walked till 2 o'clock in the afternoon. It's 5 hours into this thing.
Yeah.
You've been walking for 5 hours.
Yeah.
Without any food or water.
Yeah.
What time did you get off Milky Creek Road? How long did you walk that?
I would say going by the sun around 3 o'clock.
All right. So it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Roughly.
So now you've been walking, let's say, 6 hours.
Yeah.
3 o'clock in the afternoon. Everybody knows it's going to get dark at about 7.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So you've gone 6 hours without food and water.
Mm-hmm.
You know dark's going to come back in 3 hours,
Mm-hmm.
and it's 6 hours back to the house.
Probably yes.
But y'all decide at this point to keep walking.
Well, I told Linda, I said, let's turn back and head back to the house. She said, which way is it? At that time,
You're on Milky Creek Road. You just
Yeah.
tell her to go back to
Yeah.
Milky Creek Road, right?
yeah, but the,
Uh-huh.
but the side path,
No. You just said you were still on
that's
Milky
the-
Creek Road.
yeah, the Milky Creek Road, the opposite, okay, so Milky Creek Road, the side path was like this, okay?
Okay,
Turns
but
around.
you're on Milky Creek Road.
Yeah, but we were on Milky Creek Road on the side path and went.
That's
Going
not
that
what
way.
you just said. You keep
Well,
changing
that's
your
what-
story on me.
That's what
You
happened.
said at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, you were on Milky Creek Road.
Yeah, there was on Milky Creek Road. Then there was this side path.
Okay, again, it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Right,
You're at the side path on Milky Creek Road.
right,
You know darkness is coming in 3 to 4 hours.
yeah,
You haven't had any food and water since
Yeah.
about 9 o'clock that morning.
that's right.
Are you already hallucinating?
Not yet.
Okay. Why in the world, when you know you only have a couple of hours of daylight left,
Mhm.
and you haven't got any food and water, and haven't had any food and water,
Mhm.
why in the world do you not go back to the house?
That's why I told Lindsay, let's turn around and go back. So we turn around and start the process going back. On the process of going back, then I get, for some reason, it's never happened to me before, I get disoriented.
On Milky Creek Road?
Off the side path.
You're on Milky Creek Road?
Yeah.
You just said you're on Milky Creek Road.
Yes, sir. I'm sorry, I know that.
Why don't you stay on Milky Creek Road?
Well, I switched directions on the hopes to get us back quicker, but I was wrong. I was wrong. We got lost.
Makes no sense to me. Why don't you just stay on Milky Creek Road?
I learned the hard way about that, unfortunately.
That's not an answer. What was the decision process to walk into the woods at now probably 5 o'clock in the afternoon, knowing darkness is just a couple hours away? You know, even at darkness, as long as you stay on Milky Creek Road, you make it back to wherever Barbara lives at on Milky Creek Road. How many times have you walked Milky Creek Road?
One time.
But any person with any sense, whether they graduated kindergarten or Harvard University, knows if you're on a main road and darkness is coming, you don't walk into the woods, you stay on the road. So this 30-ish-year-old woman, a few hours in darkness, decides to follow her brother into the woods off the Milky Creek Road when she knows she lives on Milky Creek Road. She's going to follow you, who has never been down Milky Creek Road. You've convinced her to walk into the woods right before sundown when she knows she lives on Milky Creek Road.
Yeah, because I go Milky Creek Road, across the highway, and go to Sister's house.
What do you say to her to convince her it is a good idea to leave this main roadway that leads to her house to follow you, who knows nothing about the Ozarks, into the darkness of the Ozarks in the middle of the night?
Well, all I told us, I said, you feel like going exploring? That's what I told her, quite frankly. That's what I told her. I said, you feel like going exploring? That's all I said.
Okay. So you lead her off into the woods?
Yes, I did, sir.
Okay.
There was 4 people right here on this whole water, and we hollered. I hollered. My sister hollered. Says, "Help! There's no food, no water. We need help. Call a cop."
Were they on foot? Were they on foot?
Yeah, they were swimming. They had a green-looking truck. It was a dark-haired man.
So they were swimming?
Yes, sir.
Did you go down to them?
With the grade like it was, that steep it was, he was like that little drop-off that we couldn't go down to him because the grade was too steep. But I walked to the point, and I said, "Look, man, me and my sister up here, we're lost. We have no food, no water. Help us."
Porch?
No, the steep. I hollered at him. And these people looked at it like we was crazy. They thought we was, camping out or whatever on purpose. And that wasn't the case. And I hollered at him. I said, "Look, man, we're lost. We need help." I hollered for help from these people. We need help. Get a cop. Get somebody. Get whatever. Get some help here. Then there was a kid on the other side hunting over here with a squirrel. My sister heard him.
So now you've seen a 5th person?
We heard him. I didn't see him. I heard it. So he's hunting over here. And he's shooting the trees, so I assumed they were squirrels.
So there was a creek down there.
But this side was dry.
Okay, but they were swimming.
On this side, yes, sir.
But you could see water.
Yes, sir.
How come you didn't just work your way down to the water?
Number one, it was steep grade. It was dark. Me and Linda were walking all day. It was past dark.
Okay, when you woke up the next day, how come you didn't go down there?
The deal on that there, the next day went over there. I said, "Linda, we need to go down and get some see if we can get these people down there and do this here." Now,
because if they were down there at the truck,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
And there's water.
Yeah.
That means they had to have some road to get down there.
Right.
How come you didn't go down to that when it come daylight again?
Come daylight, you went over there and looked and walked down to where they was at. Where they went the night before. They weren't there.
But there's still a road. They had to get down there on the road. They was in a truck.
I looked for the road and I saw
So the truck magically appeared down there.
I don't know if we was hallucinating. I honestly don't know. I don't know.
That don't make no sense to me.
I don't know if we just seeing
One thing I
people
learned
or
in
not.
Marine Corps survival is anybody in trouble will always take the path of least resistance.
Yeah.
So you're at a creek where there's water. You haven't had any water.
Yeah.
All right. You said you went 2 days without water.
And
I come in and drank some of the creek water where they were swimming.
went down there, and me and her was hallucinating. And you know what? I guess we must have been hallucinating because there was no damn water and there was no damn people.
That's not what you just said.
But that's what I'm trying to get the point across here. We had been seeing
You just
things.
said you went down to the water.
Yeah, went down to where we thought in our mind was the water. But
You've
there
only
wasn't.
been without water for 24 hours. You can't be hallucinating already.
We was
I
hallucinating.
did mountain warfare school. I went a lot longer than that without food and water.
But anyways, we was hallucinating.
Were y'all on drugs?
No, sir.
Well, then why were you hallucinating? You've only been gone for 24 hours.
Well, I don't know what the deal was. We was hallucinating because I know all we did was, all the thing we ever ate was, I ate, she didn't eat it.
How come she didn't eat the grapes? What grapes?
Finicky eater.
What grapes? No. Listen to me now. Listen. Again, I spent 20-something years in the Marine Corps.
I understand that.
I had been very, very hungry in my life.
Yes.
After about 12 to 15 hours, there is no such thing as a finicky eater no more.
Well, I told her point blank range. I said, if I
And you
can
ate
find,
grapes. Where in the world did you find grapes in the Ozark Mountains?
they were, well, I don't know what y'all call them here, but they're little red. Some people call them thistle grapes, I believe they're called. And I'm not going to call thistle grapes, I don't call them, but they're little itty bitty and they're red. Linda, her feet were swollen up from all them briars. Her feet were swollen up. Cuts and scrapes. There's a proof right there on my legs. It's her legs cut and scraped as bad as mine was. And her feet were swollen up. She said, I can't take another step.
Fine. It's still daylight. Why don't you go down there?
So, I go take there.
Now, you're skipping my question. Why don't you just go down there? Leave her sitting right there, say, I'll be right back, sis. And
I
you
told her.
take down the little ridge to the creek in the water. How come you don't do it?
And I told her.
Because you've been without water, too.
I told her, wait there. I'm going to get down, try to get down this little ridge here. Went down this ridge down here, and went down there. And for some bizarre reason, I can't explain to you why, but we were seeing things. Was no truck, was no people, was no damn water.
So you're hallucinating after a simple 10, 12-hour hike. You're already so desperate that you and your sister both are seeing the same thing.
Yes, sir.
You know, people don't, number one, you don't start hallucinating after 10 or 12 hours. I've been there, done that. You don't start hallucinating.
Well, we did.
I'm telling you. And both of you sure don't see the same thing. When you start hallucinating, you and the other person don't see the same thing. And you don't have the same conversations with the same people. That don't happen.
Well, it strikes me strange. They weren't there.
Well, it strikes me strange, too. This whole
They weren't
story
there.
is striking me strange.
They weren't there.
So you seen water, but then there was no water. You
Exactly.
seen people in a truck, but there
And
was no truck.
people.
You had some food, but she wouldn't eat. And all this was within the first 24 hours.
The next morning, Sunday morning,
Okay.
we got up and found this lean-to. Okay. Then I told Linda, I said, I'm tired. I got to take a short nap. And which I didn't do. I stayed up. I saw the brown Ford pickup. The one I saw was what I thought was a pickup, and what I thought was water was right from where we was camping. There was camped at.
Now there's another guy in another truck
That was
by
Linda.
the water.
No.
Here's a simple question. Focus on me, okay?
I got to focus.
Let's get kumbaya on this thing,
I'm
okay?
focused.
Because
Okay.
you're confusing the bejesus out of me.
Okay.
And I ain't RC, and this is Special Agent Todd Shaw of the State
Hello.
Police.
Hello.
You can already see that he's getting confused because he's giving that look like, what the hell is this man talking about? So let's get this. Listen.
Okay.
Who is this other dude in the Ford pickup truck that you think's brown. How does he got anything to do with this story?
Okay. When we was camped this one place there, Linda said there was people down there. There was water down there. There was a brown Ford pickup. She said there was.
Well, when did she tell you this? What point in your story is she telling you
This was day 2.
Day 2.
Day 2.
Okay, so this is another person you've seen. Okay, go ahead.
Right. Then she said he's got brown hair. There's a black lady down there in a yellow shirt.
And this is where you're at the lean-to?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Then there's a blonde-haired chick, and she said there was a blonde-haired guy, and there was somebody, another dude there. Okay, she said they were swimming. Well, I'm looking. I said, sis, you're hallucinating. Okay, you're hallucinating. They're not there. She even said to the point, she says, I'm seeing bright spots in front of my eyes. I said, sis, you're totally hallucinating. I went to looking, and even with my eyes, I'm thinking, I rub my eyes like this, I'm saying, no, I'm seeing things.
So you're seeing the same thing she's seeing again?
And I'm looking up, and to me, I see a guy and a girl and a pickup.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I saw.
Okay.
So I made a fire pit. You know, we put the rock spill down through the fire pit. Anyways, we gathered up some wood. And I was looking for somebody like grapes, you know, grape seed, whatever, you know. And no such luck. The creek beds are dry. Bone dry. And so I didn't get back. Linda told me she was going to head to this one guy. There was a house.
Slow down.
Okay, there's a house.
When did she tell you know what? This is Sunday.
Sunday.
About what time?
It was after dark.
She tells you what?
She told me there's this guy. There's a house on over the mountain, but there's a shortcut. There's a little creek. Go by the shortcut. There's a house there. She was going to borrow his phone to call either a marshal or a game warden or somebody, or get a ride to the highway, or have this guy take a ride to the highway.
How come y'all didn't just go ahead and go with him then?
Well, this same guy, that one I'm talking about, that she was talking to, I thought she was talking to me instead because she was hallucinating.
Okay.
Like I was hallucinating. I would deny it. I was hallucinating.
You doing dope? You doing shrooms? You doing meth or what?
No, sir. No food and water.
You're going without food and water for 2 days.
Yep. And we started seeing things. And things weren't there. Literally, people weren't there. Houses weren't there.
So she tells you she's going to go to this guy's house.
Yes, sir.
And then you see her walk off at night.
No, sir. We went over to this one place where we spent the night.
At the lean-to.
Yes, sir. Okay, at the lean-to. Okay, then she said that she was going to where the rooster was crowing, which was on that side.
So she's heard a rooster crow and she's talked to somebody.
Yes, sir. But the rooster was crowing. She wasn't hallucinating, and she was going to go towards
Did
the
you hear the
sound.
rooster crow?
Yes, sir. And also a guinea.
Okay, how come you didn't go?
Well, I went up there. She went up there, and she said, I said, just wait a minute. I said, let's sleep tonight and head there over there towards her in the morning. Okay, well, I took. And next thing I know, Linda's gone.
What time did you know she was gone?
It was around daylight. She said she was going to his house. I said, wait a minute, I'll go with you. And next thing I know, she's gone. She went.
Okay. When did you have this conversation with her about waiting, I'll go with you?
Oh, roughly around a little after daylight.
Okay, so you had a conversation with her a little after daylight.
Yeah, with her. When she said she's going to go to his house, I said, no, stay here. We'll make a fire. We'll make this smoke, which we did, by the way. And we made a smoke. So in case if somebody's looking for us, that they said they see the smoke.
Okay, so it's daylight when she leaves.
Yeah, but I said, just wait a minute.
But wait a minute, a while ago you told me it was nighttime.
No. She said, in the morning, I said, would she want to leave that night? I said, no. wait till morning. So I told her. Well, we'll go over to his house.
Okay, so y'all wake up Monday morning, Monday morning.
Yeah, basically.
Y'all wake up Monday morning together.
Yes.
Okay. Then what?
Okay. Then I said, wait a minute. And I said, just wait a minute and we'll go over there. And I went to go, I don't know why. I wasn't drinking water, I had to pee. And I go around, turn around and pee, and she's gone. I'm hollering, as calling for Linda. She's not answering. Okay? And so I figured, well, I'm going to try to find her. Well, I tried to find her. Okay? Because she told me the general direction she was going, which from where we was at was like that way. Well, I couldn't find her. I looked. And I climbed over 3 hills, again, by myself. Went up. I hit this little town called, I think it's called Connors. I'm not for sure about that. And I lay on a rock to just close my eyes just for a few minutes. I think the best thing I can do is try to get back and get some help. So I take and I started hearing people. I thought, I'm just hearing things, hallucinating. Anyways, then come to find out, it was actual people. I wasn't seeing things. And it was a guy on a horse. I was on back trails of Connors, and I asked him, I looked around, I said, I need to get to St. Joe. Which is the best way to go? He told me to take, I believe he said it was southwest. He told me to go southwest. Go down Mill Creek Road.
Okay, when you seen this guy on the horse, was he on a roadway? Was he in a field?
He was on a back path.
He was on a back path.
Back path, yes.
What did this guy look like?
He was a young guy. He had cowboy. Had his hair cut short. And he's a real pretty horse. And I told him, I said,
what did the horse look like?
Brown looking gelding.
So he tells you go southwest.
Yeah.
Did you tell him you was lost?
Yeah, I told him I was lost. I said, I'm going down to St. Joe, so I can go back and get some help from my sister.
Why didn't you ask him to go call somebody for you there?
I did. I asked him, I told him the general direction to where my sister was at. And he told me, he says, all right, he said, I'll get in contact with some of our authorities. So, he said, but meanwhile, if you want to go to St. Joe, you go southwest, it'll take you to St. Joe. I said, okay.
How old was this guy?
Oh, he was a youngster. He's probably maybe 18, 19 years old.
So you tell an 18, 19-year-old guy on a horse at some place called Connor.
Yeah. I think it's Connors now. I can't be sure on that. It starts with a C. I can't verify it's Connors, but I think it's Connors.
You tell him you've been without food and water?
Yes, sir.
And so this 18-year-old just says, all right, and rides off.
That's basically what he does, yes.
But he doesn't call authorities.
I don't know if he did or did not. I did not see him. I saw...
Why didn't you just ask him to take you to his house or the nearest house?
Well, because everybody asked for help, they just didn't do nothing for us.
So you've gone that long without food and water, and you've seen water, but you haven't went and got the water,
right.
And then when you see the cowboy, just a shot in the dark here, just a shot in the dark, as long as we're shooting things in the freaking dark here. Why don't we ask the cowboy for a lift? Horse carries more than one person, they're pretty strong.
Because he was in the opposite direction.
So you've struggled in the woods,
right,
for 3 days,
right,
3 nights,
right.
You wandered the wilderness,
right,
right. There's a young 18, 19-year-old boy, country boy.
Mm-hmm.
This ain't no city boy. It's a country boy.
Mm-hmm.
He's riding a horse.
Right.
I have a hard time envisioning, and Todd, again, you can correct me if I'm wrong on this. have a hard time envisioning any 18 or 19-year-old country boy looking at a man who hasn't had food or water for 3 days and not saying, dude, could I get you some water? Can I give you a ride over to where some water is?
The offer was not made.
Was the offer asked?
I asked him if he had a drink.
He didn't tell me that was up.
I asked him if I could drink of water. As far as that goes, he said he didn't have any water on him.
Did you ask him for a ride? Did you tell him, dude, I've been walking for 3 days now, living in the bush. My sister's missing. Dude, give me a ride.
I asked him that, and he said he's going the opposite direction. And he said, but I said, well, what's the way so I can get to St. Joe so I can go down, get to St. Joe so I can get myself some help from my sister.
So the 18, 19-year-old boy rides off and doesn't call the law.
I don't know if he did or didn't. I don't know. I can't say he did. I can't say he didn't because I don't honestly know.
Okay. Let me ask you this, though. He says he's going the opposite direction, and what was your response to that?
Well, I told him, I said, man, I need to go. I said, I need to get to St. Joe, get some help from my sister, man.
Why didn't you go in the same direction as him? Say, dude, I'll catch a ride with you any direction you're going.
He was going to Independence.
So?
That's town.
They got water and food in Independence.
And I was just thinking about getting to St. Joe to get some help from my sister.
They got phone.
Wait, slow down. You were thinking about getting this. This is the point I'm leading up to. You just can't wait to get back to St. Joe to get some help for your sister.
Yeah.
You get there Tuesday morning. I get a call Wednesday at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. What happened between Tuesday at noon and Wednesday at 5 o'clock in the afternoon? If you're in such a damn hurry to get your sister some help, how come nobody knows about it?
Okay, when it turned out, and it's still there. Me and my sister got into a tiff. I asked her if she'd got in touch with authorities about me and Linda being missing. She said she hadn't.
How come you didn't do it?
Okay, now, just wait a minute, let me explain the situation.
Okay, explain the situation.
I asked Barb if she had got in touch with authorities about, for me and Linda.
Okay, slow down. When did you ask Barb this?
As soon as I got there, and she said she hadn't. I blew up on Barb. I got mad. I blew up on Barb. And anyways, I blew up on Barb. I said, what the hell's your problem?
This is Tuesday?
As soon as I got there.
Okay,
yes,
sir.
sir.
As soon as you get there.
As soon as I got there, okay. I said, what the hell's the deal? You should have called the cops. You should have called somebody. And she said, me and her got into an argument.
What did she say?
She got pissed off at me, and she said, well...
You just started saying, she said, and then you dropped
Yeah,
it. What did
she
say?
got mad. She got mad. She said, fine. She says, okay, next... She says, but my wording is, she said, yeah, I will call the cops. Just like that. And I said, well, why didn't you call them both? I said, why didn't you call them? She says, I thought you guys went to Oklahoma. She thought me and Linda went back to Oklahoma.
Okay, that's great. That is a great story right there.
But Linda is supposed to go back to Oklahoma.
Okay, that's a great
for
story.
the first or the third.
That's a great story. Don't give a damn about when she's supposed to go to Oklahoma.
But the point of the matter is, Barb says she didn't know. Where was that?
We still haven't answered the question.
Still haven't answered some simple questions. Wait a minute. Todd, before you do anything else, I want to see if something works here. Put your hands in front of your face like this.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah.
Do this.
You're fine.
Okay?
Yeah.
Do this.
Okay, right.
All right. You get home Tuesday.
Right.
You don't call nobody. You just show them your fingers work, and then you can put your hand up to your ear. Why do you not call the police?
I told Barb, point blank range, we need to call the cops.
I don't care what you told her. How come you don't call the police?
Because I'm so damn dog-ass tired from walking that I was physically wore out, mentally wore out.
So what you basically saying is screw my sister.
No, I did not say that.
How much effort does it take, no matter how tired you are? Fine, I'll even give you that. You were, no, you were dog tired Tuesday when you got home.
Yeah.
Tuesday you go to bed, you get something to eat, you get something to drink, you go get yourself some sleep. It's Wednesday morning.
Right.
You've had some rest. You've had some food. You've had some water. Why the hell don't you call the damn police?
I did.
When?
When I called you all, I thought.
When did you call?
When I called you all.
When?
I don't know what time it was. I know I called.
Sir,
Today.
your sister is missing.
Today.
When did you call the police?
Today.
What time?
I didn't look at the clock.
In the morning?
I didn't look at the clock.
In the afternoon?
I didn't look at the clock.
Before supper? Before lunch?
I didn't look at the clock.
When did you call the police?
When I called you all, I didn't look at the phone.
How come it took you so damn long to call the police?
Because I figured, I told Barb, I'm going to call the cops.
But you did it! When were you going to call?
Today, I called you today.
How come you didn't call when you got home? Your sister's in the woods dying and you don't call. Why?
Because I did not know where she was at.
Oh my God, Todd, I gotta get some drink.
Because I did not know
Talk some sense to this
if
man.
she was in the same place where we was at.
What's your
On
first
this
name,
one
Bub?
place.
What's
Huh?
your first name?
Eddie Huff.
Eddie?
Yeah.
Okay, Eddie. Do you realize you're talking about 15 circles just in what little I've heard?
Tell me again why you get home on Tuesday and never bother to get a hold of authorities to go find your sister.
I did not do that today because, like I explained to you guys, I was dog-ass tired.
Nope, that's not good.
And dog-ass tired, and I told Sis, we need to get in touch with the cops today.
I responded, Todd, I don't know how many of these you respond to, but me and you worked together for a long time. We responded to a lot of situations like this.
Yeah.
Lost children, lost wives, people lost in the woods, people dead, people buried. Every single time.
Yeah.
Unless something bad has happened. It doesn't matter how tired somebody is.
Mm-hmm.
It does not matter. They call. Because they know if they don't call immediately, and by your own admission, she's been without food and water. She's hallucinating, according to you.
Yeah, we both were. We both were.
She is in dire straits.
Yes, we
She
both
is
were.
dying.
We both were.
She is dying. You're sitting at the house, eating, drinking, and taking a nap.
I slept last night. I did not take any nap for information.
That is great. You slept last night. So you didn't sleep yesterday then?
No.
But you slept last night.
No.
So you had all day long then to call.
I called today.
I know you called today. That is my point. You got home and didn't go to sleep until last night. So you had all afternoon and evening to call for rescue for your sister, and you did not do it.
I did not know who to get in touch with as
Oh,
far as.
here. They teach in elementary. They teach before. My children learned, correct me if your children got learned something different, before they even start first grade, 3 simple things. 911. And there's not a soul in America, not one anywhere in America, including little retarded children, that do not understand 911.
The interview shows Mr. Eddie Huff to be a fairly unreliable narrator. He doesn't know how to spell the last name of his own sister, and claims she was almost 30 years old. In actuality, Linda Arteaga was in her 50s. Mr. Huff also talks about leaving Barbara's home on Milk Creek Road and walking for 5 miles. As far as I can tell, there is no Milk Creek Road in the area. The ASP report seems to correct this and list the name as Mill Creek Road. After the interview, the detectives drove with Mr. Huff to a wooded area near Mill Creek Road and tried looking around some. It quickly got dark and they were forced to leave. It is truly difficult to pinpoint any locations related to this case. By the sound of Mr. Huff's story, Mill Creek Road must be quite long as they walked on it for miles. But there are no roads labeled with that name. When Shelley Friend called in to report Linda missing, she said that the two left to go to a place called Blue Hole on the backside of Woolham. That gives us a bit of a clue. To get to Woolham, one has to take Highway 14, also known as South Woolham Road. My suspicion is that somehow this road may be Mill Creek Road. That would fit because Highway 14 turns into Highway 374. The house that Eddie and Linda left from is on Highway 374. Going by Eddie's story, it sounds like they walked along just one road the entire time. So this is my best guess, but ultimately, I don't know. In case Eddie's story was difficult to follow, this is the timeline as best I could grasp it from Eddie's interview. Eddie and Linda walked down to Woolham completely unprepared, and at some point walked off the main road and into the woods. They became disoriented and lost. A little later, they encounter a dark green truck with people swimming in the river. They call to these people for help, and they are completely ignored. Eddie seems to infer this might have all been a hallucination, but at the time, they had only been without food or water for maybe 12 hours at most. The group with the truck then loaded up and left, or simply vanished. I'm uncertain which, and he also says the river disappeared entirely. Eddie makes a fire that night, and the two spend the night in the woods. In the morning on the second day, the two find a lean-to structure. Later, Linda sees a group of people in a brown truck, and Eddie is convinced this is also a hallucination. Sometime that night, Linda finds a house where there is a man with a phone. Eddie says that Linda talked to this man, but none of it was real. He chalks this incident up to a hallucination as well. On Monday morning, the two were planning to go and search for a house where they thought they heard a rooster crowing. Eddie turns around to relieve himself, and when he looks back, Linda is already gone. This appears to be the point where the two got separated. Eddie walks off on his own and encounters a man on a horse. The young man on the horse gives Eddie some general directions to get to St. Joe, but little else. Eddie eventually makes it back to his sister Barbara's house. He gets into a fight with Barbara because she never called police to start a search. Instead of calling the police himself, Eddie then goes to sleep because he is dog-ass tired. In fact, Eddie did not attempt to call the police until after his niece, Shelley, already called to report Linda missing over a day later. Even after that, it sounds like Eddie had his sister Barbara call the police instead of phoning them himself. After these events, the sheriff and state police are highly suspicious of Eddie Huff and spend a good portion of his interview trying to convince Eddie that Linda is dead and to take them to where Linda's body is located.
Where are you going to go from here?
From here?
Yeah. Where are you going to live?
Here!
In what house?
Barb's house. What do you think?
Is it Barbara's house or Linda's house?
Barb's house.
Barb's house.
Yes, sir.
What is Linda doing there?
Linda is going to stay there, like I said, until
She's not anymore because she's dead.
Oh, she ain't dead.
Oh, yeah, she's dead.
She's stronger-willed than that.
No, she's dead. And you know it.
No, she's stronger-willed than that.
She's dead as a doornail and you know it.
Nah, she's strong as well.
I have never heard, in 20 years of doing this, I have never heard anybody make up such ridiculous stories as what you make up. It is just absolutely astronomical. They should put you on television.
Well, number one, she's a strong-willed person, and I do believe she's very much alive.
She's not strong-willed.
On that there. And second,
How can you be strong-willed? By your own statement.
Yeah.
By your own statement, y'all were within half a mile to a quarter mile of water. You could see water, and because she had some swollen feet, she wouldn't go to the water.
Yeah.
That's not strong-willed.
But I'm just, everything I've told you is the truth.
No, it's a damn lie.
It's the truth.
It's a lie. It makes no sense whatsoever. You make shit up the whole time. If you were listening to me telling that story, you would be giggling at me.
Well, number one, I come here to get help for her.
You come here to get help for her. How come you didn't come get help for her on Tuesday?
Okay, I'm guilty of that, okay? I'm guilty of that, all right? For being tired, okay? I'm guilty on that part. Of being dog-ass tired. The truth, and I'm a little bit aggravated because y'all think I killed the sister. Man, I
didn't say that.
No, but y'all just was saying I did that, and I did not do that, man.
Maybe she died by accident.
No,
He
no,
was
no,
scared
sir. She was alive and breathing when I left. I promise you.
But then she got lost in the woods, and you came home.
And she, yeah, correction, because I thought she'd beat me home. She told me she
When
would.
you came home.
Why do you think I'm going for the process I can go for now?
When you came home, you never went and checked on her, and you never called anybody.
Because I don't know where she's at over there except that one direction.
That's the reason why you called somebody, but you never did.
I don't know which direction she's from over by. I don't know this area. You guys might know this area. I don't know it, man.
That's why.
I don't know this area.
That's why everybody calls authorities when they have a lost loved one situation.
Yeah, and Linda told me, she says, if we get separated, get me help. I said, sis, I will.
But you didn't.
That's the thing on that. She told me, she said, get me help. I said, I will.
But you didn't.
I admit my timing was late, okay? I admit that. I'm not denying
anything.
I'm not denying that.
You did nothing. I mean nothing.
On
you
that.
did nothing. Zero. Zilch. Nada. You did nothing.
I did not do no harm to my sister. I love my
Who did?
sister. I got a bad
Who
feeling.
did?
I got a bad feeling that she went to the wrong person,
And what? It's more than a feeling, Eddie.
I got a bad feeling that she went to get a ride off the supposed person that she said she talked to, and this supposed person
Killed her.
Yes, I get a bad feeling about that.
So you think she's dead.
Why should I do? Why should I make up an excuse?
Because you killed your sister. Because you're making up this whole
No,
story.
no.
Why should you make up this whole story
no,
you've been telling us?
No. I might be a little bit weird, and I might be a little bit crazy, guys, but I'm not stupid. So please don't take it as that.
This was all exacerbated when the detectives learned that Eddie was charged in the past with second-degree murder, but ended up taking a plea deal for manslaughter. Eddie's story for the incident goes something like this. A man shot himself with Eddie's gun, and Eddie got charged for it.
You ever been arrested before?
Long time ago. Why?
For what?
Long time ago.
For what?
Long time ago. 30
What
or
did you get
20 years
arrested
ago.
for?
It was accidental shooting. Why?
An accidental shooting.
Yeah.
Did you get shot?
No. Some idiot shot himself with my gun.
Some idiot shot yourself with your gun.
Some idiot shot himself with my gun.
Some idiot shot himself with your gun.
Yes.
Who was holding the gun at the time?
He was. He was playing.
Okay, so then what the hell did you get arrested for?
It was my gun.
What did you get arrested for?
It was my gun. And
What were you charged with?
what I was charged with? Well, in that case there, it'd be accidental shooting.
There is no such
There's no
thing as
such thing.
accidental shooting.
What
There's not even a
were
statute.
you charged with?
What did you get charged
It was
with? Did you go to jail?
manslaughter. It was
Manslaughter.
Manslaughter.
Yes, sir.
Is that the only thing you've ever been arrested for?
Yes, sir.
Manslaughter. You got charged with manslaughter because somebody shot themselves with your gun
Yeah.
and you wasn't holding it.
No.
Then why the hell did you get charged with manslaughter?
Well, for starters, number one, after the dude caps his ass, after the dude pops a cap in his ass, I get the gun from the body, and I'm like a dumbass. I hide the gun, and then to top it off, the cops asked me where this gun was at, and I show them where the gun is at. Then after that, they said, "Did you shoot him?" I said, "No, he shot himself." Playing Russian roulette with my 9mm.
Russian roulette with a 9mm.
He takes this thing, click, and I had to clip out. Okay? I had to clip out. He finds the damn clip, shoves the pop off, and bloom, he blows himself away.
That ain't Russian roulette.
He blows himself away. So, but like I said, that was 28 years ago.
Whoa, wait a minute.
20
You said manslaughter.
Yeah.
You were arrested for second-degree murder.
No, by Kane County up there it said manslaughter, first degree manslaughter.
1978, March 8, 1978, Oklahoma, Newkirk Sheriff's Office.
Yeah, Newkirk.
Charge number 1, charge literal, second-degree murder.
Well, that's a new one on that one, then, because last time I checked out, he was first degree
You took
manslaughter.
a plea for manslaughter, didn't you? They offered you a plea to manslaughter, didn't they?
Yeah.
All right. So you got arrested and
Yeah.
charged, so
Yeah.
you lied to me.
Given the attitude of police at the time, Eddie Huff was very lucky his sister was found and found alive. The interview makes it clear that they did not believe a word he said. They accuse him of lying multiple times and blatantly state they believe he killed his own sister. At the same time, after listening to Mr. Huff, it does make sense why the police thought this way. I suppose one of the strangest aspects of this case is the fact that both Eddie Huff and Linda Arteaga had the same, or at least very similar, stories to tell. They both described seeing people and being ignored. They both believed they were hallucinating even though they really had not been lost very long. Doctors believe they might have eaten some hallucinogenic berries. Eddie Huff told investigators that he found and ate something he referred to as grapes, but it sounds like he also called them thistleberries. Who knows what they really were? Either way, Eddie said that Linda did not eat those berries, so why would she be hallucinating? The question of drug use also has to be brought up after reading the email sent by Bill Beach. Mr. Beach claims that Eddie told him that Linda went off in search of a person who grows marijuana and makes meth. While it's not proof that Linda or Eddie do drugs, it forces you to recognize the possibility. Something like meth could very well be an explanation for some of the behavior described in this incident. While their stories share some similarities, they also have some key differences as well. After Linda was found, she said that she had left in order to get help for Eddie. She said that she thought he was hurt. Eddie, on the other hand, told a story about how he and Linda were planning on finding a homestead where they heard a rooster crowing. Before leaving together, he stopped to relieve himself, and when he turned back around, Linda was gone. These are two very different stories that describe how they became separated. So what's the deal with this case? Was there something paranormal going on here? Obviously, I can't positively say one way or the other. But there is some evidence indicating there might be something else in play, like poisonous berries or even drugs. My inclination is normally towards a rational answer if one seems to present itself. Unfortunately, you could say that the two individuals involved in this case don't seem very reliable. Hearing Eddie Huff speak about this incident is very confusing, especially if you listen to his full interview. He doesn't even know the basic details about his sister. Because of that, it's very difficult to come to a paranormal determination in this case. That doesn't mean it's not strange and bizarre, though. The stories from both parties are similar yet different and very unusual. From the get-go, nobody was making rational decisions, and it just kept getting worse. As is often the case, there's no definite answers, but I'm always interested in hearing what you think. So let me know in the comments, and until next time, thanks for watching.